Happy Sunday. This is a live class for the summer, and it's part of a summer series. Right now, Mercury has come direct, so Mercury is about communication, and this is a really good time of year with the solstice coming up to kind of feel where we are in our emotional bodies and bring balance to that in a playful way because it's summer. And in addition to that, Saturn goes retrograde, so we can throw out the structure and bring a practice that will help us balance and direct the energies that are opposing those forces that are always opposing, like light and dark and sun and moon and day and night and those kind of forces that we're as we tap into the energy of the universe. So sounds very woo-woo, but we're going to use mudra and breath and movement to help us balance the physical body, which will help address the emotional and mental body. With this in mind, we're going to practice, I would invite you to practice with nonviolent communication. In that language, there'll be more in the literature and the notes section about what that means, but it is basically a mindful practice to bring us into the present, just like a balance is required between future and past in the present. It brings an awareness to the words that we say to ourselves and to others, as well as the motivation behind them and the intent at which they're given, and if there is one. So with that in mind, we're going to focus on the heart and throat chakra, on the breath. So we're going to be working on bringing light and openness and expansion in this area here while holding our core and our grounding. And whenever I work with the upper chakras, I'm going to use a mudra to direct it in practice. So we're going to be using a mudra that is just a basic mudra to explore using the Mercury finger, which is the pinky finger, and then also the middle finger, which is the Saturn finger. And I'll post more about those in the notes too. And we're going to do Sun Salutations. So we're going to move into some movement now that it's summer. We're going to balance the stillness of winter and the ice thawing into spring, into solid, productive, fun, joyful movement in the spirit of solstice. So let's rub our hands together and bring them to the heart's place. And as you inhale deeply, we're going to bring a balance to the breath. So we're going to inhale and exhale in equal amounts and maintain this practice throughout. So find your roots and inhale and exhale. Do a little check-in as you inhale again. Note the breath. And just bringing your awareness to the center of your being, how your physical body feels. Make those minor adjustments in your spine so that you can sit up nice and tall and feel the extension of your spine and the depth of the breath as you inhale again and exhale. And so in our practice today, we're going to release our hands. As we inhale, we want to picture light coming through our heart and into our throat. And as we exhale, we want to feel that release of energy no longer needed. For example, the carbon dioxide that's in the breath itself, eliminating anything that you no longer need. And this might progress to flashes of insight and opportunities to uncover fear and anxiety, and that is part of the practice. So at any time you can stop your practice and take some deep breaths in. If you encounter them, go back to the breath and be aware of the breath. You can address the emotion, but you want to go back to the breath and realize that the emotion will pass, you're not the emotion. So that's the premise of this practice, and in that way we'll bring balance to those things that may be in our unconscious that arise through the breath work. All right, so we're going to start by rooting down, and as you inhale, I want you to feel, I've been doing a lot of walking in the woods and getting out in nature and being under the tree, and it's so hot and humid, that drippy feeling of your hands rooting into the ground by a river. So the roots digging in. And then, you know, we're very organic here in Florida. Everything grows when it rains. All of a sudden your allergies are bad and all the flowers are in bloom. So take that opportunity to enjoy the movement back and forth and a little bit forward and back, knowing that you can't really move because you're rooted down, but seeing the extent of your motion as you're rooted down. We're going to let our roots rise up to the sky and become the leaves on the top of a tree, and then on the exhale we'll root down. So as you inhale, you'll picture the heart opening and expanding with white light, and as you exhale you want to feel what you need to eliminate into the earth through those nice little roots that you're going to bring back down to the earth. Let them just wash down into the earth. So here we go. Inhale up. You can close your eyes and bring your focus to the third eye. And exhale, and remember, just even breaths, bringing balance to the breath. And then inhale. And exhale. And then blink the eyes open. We're going to take the arms out and swing the left arm underneath the right. And I'm not grabbing anything. I'm just going to do kind of like an eagle, but I'm grabbing where I can get. I'm got my right bicep on the left. I'm sorry. I have my right tricep on my left bicep. And I'm not really doing eagle. So if you're familiar with eagle, I'm just twisting my hands around. I'm going to take a deep breath up in and lift my elbows slightly and away from my chest, but it's not much higher than my chest level, right at the top of my chest level. And then as I exhale, I'm going to round down and tuck. I'm going to do this 2 more times, inhaling, picturing that white light bathing my heart and throat, and exhaling, eliminating right down through into the earth. 1 more time, inhale. And exhale. Now I want you to hold the exhale and just stay here, please, and breathe long, deep breaths. And in this tuck position, as you picture that white light streaming through your heart, how hard is it in this safe, covered, guarded, protected position where you're deep inside yourself to shine in that darkness? Inhale and lift the arms up. Exhale, let them come down to the earth. Picture what you no longer need flowing into the earth. And then we'll do the same thing again. We'll inhale up, opening the heart, and exhaling down, balancing the breath here. Equal inhales and exhale, not much pause in between. Inhaling and exhaling. So we're going to do the other arm now. So then inhale, the arms out, and then you're going to swing the right arm underneath the left, make your bind. It's a loose bind. This may be challenging, so just do the best you can here. It's not necessary. If you can just stack your hands, that's fine too. My elbows are about chest height. I might open them up a little bit higher, but I'm going to pretty much limit my range of motion. In this position, we'll be doing it again. And we'll be more warmed up then. So inhaling and lifting up. Exhaling and drawing it in towards the belly button, sucking in, rounding the spine, but dropping the shoulders down. If you've experienced a shoulder surgery, you may not be in this position. You may be drawing your elbows in, which is totally okay too. And inhaling them up, so you have that option too. And now we're going to hold them down. So hold them down. If you can cross them at the wrists, go ahead and do that, or resume the position. And breathe here, shining that light into your darkness, your inner world. And then inhaling, coming back up, releasing the hands down to the earth. Take a deep breath in. And exhale. We want to inhale the arms up. Exhale them down. Draw the chin into the chest. Inhale. Lift the heart up towards the sky. And we're going to stay here and breathe. Again, let your pelvis hit the earth. Relax through the tailbone, so slight pelvic tilt to maintain a little structure. Inhale and exhale. So now that we've balanced the front and the back of our body and our breath, we're going to take this to a balanced position on our hands and knees. But first we'll do cat and cow with that same idea of inhale and exhale being the same length. So you might do this really slowly with a deep breath, or you might be doing it really fast with a deep breath. But we're going to start with cat and cow, and then we're going to go into a balance. You can pad up for the balance, and you can also take a rest during the balance. So the object is to maintain the balance with a long, deep breath and a presence to your third eye or down at the tip of your nose. It's to balance both sides of the breath channels, and it also challenges your core. So with that being said, when you encounter those challenges that make you want to come out of the position, pain is definitely one. You don't ever want to be in pain. So practice with a joyful exploration, knowing that sometimes when we do things, when we play, sometimes we're sore the next day, but in the right spots. Soreness is part of movement, and but pain is not, so you don't want to be in pain for it. So that includes your lower back. That is a suggestion. You might want to come back into child's pose for this position. So we're going to come onto the hands and knees. And then I'm very curious about how people curl their toes back on the inhale where they arch. I really like that idea of opening the plantar fascia, the fascia on the bottom of my feet. And different traditions do it different ways. And even within a really standard traditional yoga class, like a Kundalini class or something like that, I'll see it different ways. And I'm thinking it's a really great way to open the fascia. So I'm going to say on the inhale, we're still picturing the heart opening up here. So inhale, let the heart open up and curl the toes back. Stretch into the soles of your feet. Like, bring that sunshine all the way down that channel. And then exhale, point the toes, push them into the earth and round the spine. Push gently on the hands as well as the knees, the shins, and the tops of the feet. Let the head fall. And then continue inhaling and exhaling. So we're going to keep this going and bringing balance to this. So we're trying to do the same amount of energy to the inhale and the same amount of energy to the exhale, and bringing balance to our give and take. And then hold with the chin towards the chest. And again, we're going to breathe light into our heart, into our throat space, even in this rounded turtle position. Feel the earth beneath you and the sky opening up above you. Feel the beautiful power and the strength of your body. And feel your darkness here. What does it feel like to be inside, upside down? And then inhale to arch again. And exhale to sit back in child's pose. Bring the knees together here, and we're going to take the hands back. We're going to rest the belly on the thighs with the knees together. If this you need to pad up, go ahead and pad up. And also if you need to open your knees, you can do that. We're trying to get into a small little shell. Tuck the nose towards the knees. And then the shoulders release here. And then when you're ready, you're going to roll up, sitting on the heels. And we're going to go into the balance move with our breath. But before we do that, we're going to do the first mudra, which is encircling the middle finger and the thumb. This is the Saturn finger, and it is about structure and discipline. And right now is a good time, with it going into retrograde, not to embrace the chaotic forces that exist, because they do, and use that in a positive way towards our betterment and the betterment of society by meditating on that structure that we're going to use to create the balance in our pranic body, our airway. So middle finger and thumb resting on the top of your knees, and this is an expansion, but I'm sitting here in a position that's good for digestive issues and a familiar seated position. But I'm going to use this expansion because I'm going to use the energy we're creating so that when I go into the eliminatory mudra, one that is a good release of negative energy, I'm hoping that I'll have built that energy up through my practice, drawing my attention and my energy and channeling those forces that are always at play, especially right now. So we're going to just come into this position. Spine is nice and erect. Drawing the inner thighs towards one another gently. Drawing the lower belly in slightly to lengthen through the spine, tucking the chin. Bringing my awareness to my third eye. And then blink the eyes open, and in gratitude of our physical balance now, that we were able to sustain that, we're going to go into the pranic balance. So it is said that if you, most of us are dominated by one side, one channel or another, either the left or the right nadi. And like left is lunar and intuitive, and right is more of the yang energy, the sun energy. And we can, if we understand where we are, we can bring balance to our body through that. So one side might be challenging and the other side may not be, or both sides may be challenging. It's all a whole range within that spectrum of unbalance and balance. So you're trying to find that neutral point, and every day it's going to change. So it's a good way to deal with change in your physical body, but also with your breath. The breath is going to help you hold that balance. Trying to achieve that long, deep breath with visualization while you're focused on your third eye and holding the position. So the position is thus. So you're going to take the left hand and the right leg up, and you're going to stretch them out before you. So it's going to be the left hand and the right leg, and it'll look opposite mine. And we're going to lengthen it out here, and then we're going to stay here and do long, deep breaths. So I'm going to put a magical number to it. We'll do 9 breaths today in this position, 9 long, deep breaths. And I like those magical numbers. Generally, you stay here about 3 minutes. So we're going to stay here for 9 breaths. Lengthening, holding, and beginning that breath. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower that leg, and immediately we're going to go right into 9 breaths on the other side. So it's going to be the right arm and the left leg opposite me. It'll look like my left arm, but it is my right arm and my left leg. And 9 breaths here. Visualizing the white light pouring through the throat and the heart chakra, as well as the exhale, letting everything go through all the positions, the fingers, the feet, into the ground, into the air, and away. Deep breath in. As you exhale, you're going to lower that leg down. And immediately you're going to come to a seated position with the legs stretched out in front of you. With the legs stretched out in front of you, lift up nice and tall into the sternum. Picture that white light coming in. Ground yourself on the ground. Exhale. Inhale, let the hands float up. Exhale, you're going to let them come down, fold over the leg with the hands on the floor, dug into the floor, and let the body drape. You still want to be extending with that heart on the inhale, and on the exhale, you want to find that darkness by hollowing in the tailbone slightly, drawing in the lower belly, tucking the chin, but still shining the heart forward brightly. And however meek you feel, let the hands rest to the floor wherever you are, whether you're draped forward or just barely moving. Breathe here. And when you're ready, place the hands flat. Take a couple of times to come back up. You may be a little spacey, which is okay. So let's come onto our back. because it definitely will leave you spacey doing that breath work. You really get a lot of oxygen in you, and also you get a lot of spinal flexion and extension. So we're going to come onto our backs and bring the knees up to the chest, hug them in nice and tight, get into that little round ball. Lower the head down, release the feet on the floor. Place the feet by the rear with the knees turned out. You want the knees to track over the pinky toe, and you want your whole foot on the floor here. So I'm using a powerlifting squat idea. I'm going to keep a little bit of a pelvic tilt and lift up. Stretching the arms down by the heels. They can also wrap underneath you for shoulder flexibility if you are someone who, is like a workout muscle weightlifter. If you are having trouble getting your elbows extended, keep them on the floor and work to get the forearms on the floor. So don't try to force your hands together back there and tear up the shoulders. Just really reach to get that forearm rotation and on the floor and pressing into the floor to feel the earth. We're going to lift the hips up to the ceiling. So I'm going to demonstrate first. So in this position, I have wide knees. My feet are flat on the floor. I'm going to spread my toes like a frog on a lily pad. And I'm going to lift my tailbone up, and then I'm going to engage a little bit in my lower back so that I can stay on my mid back as I roll up to my shoulders and make sure I have that flexibility and stability in my hips. Now here I could reach for my ankles here and roll my shoulders under and press my forearms on the ground. I can also bring them together, and I'm trying to get my forearms on the ground, which is really hard. I can also prop myself up. So there's a lot of options here. You can also bring a bolster underneath you or a block here. And you're going to breathe those breaths, inhaling, really picturing that clear, bright light through the throat and the heart. And by now it's so bright, it's shining out everywhere. Cleaning and balancing, letting go of what doesn't serve you. Letting gravity reintegrate what is earth, and the air take what is air. And then roll down very gently and slowly. Again, bringing the knees up to the chest. And you're just going to rock side to side, let your head go in the opposite direction. And then rocking forward and back if you can, and coming up to a seated position. It's really fun to play with energy, especially with the breath, but it can be a little scary. So remember, you can always do a long, deep breath. You don't, retentions can be a little scary. Doing something for 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 18 minutes is a challenge, but if you think about it, you can do it because you can stop at any time. So my premise when I do my practice is I'll explore something. And so I've been exploring mudras, and I find mudras very helpful because they're present right on the spot. So I can use it as a present reminder of an energy that I'd like to have or to employ in any given situation. And so Saturn, it's got wise structure, and people that exist outside of that wise structure or like to exist in this space that doesn't support the structure, they need avenues to retrain. We all need better communication. So our structures have to be in place for that better communication. So we're going to use Saturn for this meditation, and we're going to do the right hand with the middle finger encircled, and it'll be on the knee, kind of like Gya Mudra. It's the same idea, just a different finger, and this is the Saturn energy. And we're thinking of that beautiful structure that we can allow that energy to flow and flourish in that white light and shine. When we inhale, And then on the exhale, we're going to think about the communication that we whisper to ourselves or that whispers to us. And we're going to just do the pinky finger, and the other two fingers are extended. This is the Mercury finger, and it's for clear communication. So we're looking for that clear communication, the release of information, and the expression that's direct and kind and compassionate. So this gives us the opportunity, as we are aware of it in our body, to practice those and bring it into our heart. Or maybe uncover what was already there, hopefully. So middle finger on the right hand, so opposite of me. So right hand has the middle finger and the thumb, left hand has the pinky finger. And I'm still going to be thinking about those three fingers are going to be pointing straight down. I'm going to let whatever no longer serves me off into that direction, kind of like a waterfall. So I think of it as a waterfall. And I like to bring that structure of the landscape to my practice because I find it helps me direct my thoughts. So hopefully this will help you with that visualization, and then there's one more part. So normally when you practice mudras, to make them extra powerful, there's a mantra that usually goes with it. And there's lots of mantras that I use, like Sat Nam on my breath. So I breathe in and I'll say Sat, and I'll exhale and I say Nam, and that means truth is my identity, or I am truth. Today I'm going to use the mantra I am love to picture that white coming in. And whatever does not fit that is going to drip out through the exhale through my three fingers that are pointing to the ground, to be reclaimed and integrated back into the universe because they exist. And if it exists and it's in our body, we can also therefore eliminate it from our body, hopefully through mindful practice. So without so many words, I'm going to take the mudra and we'll do some long deep breaths in. Here as I breathe, I have an equal pause, so I'm inhaling deeply, containing the breath, and then exhaling. And allowing that space at the bottom as well. with the eyes closed, begin to unfold the hands and rub the tops of your thighs. Feel your body. Keep the eyes closed. Let the hands move around your legs and your body and your thighs and your hips. The parts that are closest to the earth. And you can feel that life, which really hangs in balance. And we know how quickly lights can go out in the world, so taking a moment to recalibrate and rebalance and find that inner light and focus on our gifts in the exchange of the day-to-day and the season. When you're ready, blink your eyes open. Bring the hands to the heart center and rub them together. So next week we'll be combining the mudras into a similar mudra, and I'm going to be exploring this summer the different fingers and the effects of different mudras in a meditation practice and an intention practice, and how that affects how I feel emotionally and physically and mentally, as well as how it gives me a catalyst, a way to put myself out into the world in a way that speaks to my heart. So always looking for those tools that help us engage and practice together, because we're all in this human experience and this human body. So connecting in that way that we're similar is so important to me, and I thank you for coming today. So we bring the hands to the heart center and stack the vertebrae. Feel the sternum press into the thumb and feel your worldliness engage with the floor. Tilt the chin, lengthen through the crown of the head, and draw breath in. And exhale. And inhale in honor of that structure we had with the practice, and that we brought with our breath and our choice to be here. Inhale. And exhale. And in honor of direct and clear communication, both in our inner and outer world, thanks to Mercury coming off retrograde, let's take a deep breath in. And the continued work that we do together and individually, exhale. For each and all of you, I wish you many blessings, and Sat Nam, Namaste. Thanks for joining us.